Hi, broads.
Hello.
This is kind of weird. I don't feel like we've had an episode just me and you on a Thursday in a long time.
I miss it.
Me too. I miss us.
I miss us. Can we get back to what we used to be? Oh, wait. Let's, speaking of which, talk about what we're considering doing for the next month.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So here is the deal, broads. Obviously, we are about to discuss Clare as Bachelorette before we get into our friendship breakup ep.
Yes.
And
We
so
have to.
Here we are. We are left with a few weeks in between Pete and Clare.
Yes.
And Bekah and I threw out to you maybe covering her season, you know, a few options. But now we've number one talked about covering Juan Pablo's season because that's the season Clare was on.
Well, this is the funny thing because we brought it up randomly before
Right.
having any idea that Clare would be the Bachelorette.
Yes. So here's the thing. We talked about wanting to cover Juan Pablo's season. I've looked online and I looked yesterday and I couldn't really find it for free online.
You didn't find it on Tubi?
No, it wasn't on Tubi.
Really?
Not that I found. So if any of you broads are aware of any location that we could find this online. Now, you can get the whole season, I think, on Amazon for like $10.
Okay.
But it would cost some.
Okay.
So let us know if you're like, absolutely hell no, I'm not going to pay a dime, then maybe we'll reconsider. But we would love to cover Clare's season with Juan Pablo before her actual season starts.
Yeah.
Because you haven't even seen it, right?
No.
Okay. And
I want to. I watched her on both seasons of Paradise.
Okay. Paradise and then Winter Games.
I didn't watch Winter Games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we think it would be great if we could cover it. So let us know if you find any avenue that's free on, or if you're like, if we would have to, all buy it on Prime, if you're like a hell to the no, let us know. But the other thing we were talking about recapping, because we have gotten so many DMs about this.
Which, by the way, with the Amazon Prime, you can buy them for $2 an episode. Which, if you break it down that way, it's like $2.
Yeah. Skip the coffee for the morning.
Yeah, for the week.
For the week,
it's just $2.
Yeah.
So if you put it like that, it's like.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let us know. But the other thing we're talking about recapping, because we've gotten so many DMs about it. You broads are begging for us to recap Love is Blind on Netflix.
I haven't started watching it yet.
We haven't started it. And so we've gotten so many messages saying this is way better than The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
I know I've had friends text me that. They're like,
Yes.
It's crazy. It's amazing.
And so we are going to recap Love is Blind for sure. Like 100%. We're going to do that. And I think we're going to start not next week because we have to do 2 Bachelor episodes, but the following week, I believe we're going to start recapping that. And the fun thing about that is because I don't think we've been banned by Netflix. Maybe we could get some of them on the show. We could try.
That would be great. I wonder if they have it could be that they have contracts where they don't do
anything.
Yeah.
Well,
that
we'll
they don't
see.
set them up.
We'll have to
I know.
find
I
out.
wonder.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. But so we want to recap Love is Blind. We'll keep you updated and give you all the details about that next week.
Yeah, I also wonder if they'll be releasing in the wake of her becoming the Bachelorette. I wonder if they'll release it on some sort of streaming
Give
thing.
us Juan Pablo season.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if they're going to release it because a lot of people didn't really like her on that season.
Oh, really?
I wasn't a huge fan.
Why?
The thing that's funny is that I don't really remember because it feels like forever ago,
Yeah.
but I remember not being a huge fan, but I remember then starting to really like her on the other seasons.
I can't find a
on
streaming thing
Paradise
right now either.
and then Winter Games, I started to like her.
Okay. Let's talk about her.
Let's
as
talk
Bachelorette.
about Clare. Yeah, let's talk about Clare.
So yeah, we were discussing maybe recapping Love is Blind and doing Juan Pablo's season.
Yeah, and we were talking about just going hard in the paint and doing Love is Blind recap, Juan Pablo recap, doing double reality TV episodes a week until Bachelorette starts, and then doing the one Bachelorette, one non-batch episode. So yeah, we're talking about that.
So it might be a shit ton of reality TV, but it's going to be so much fun. And me and Jess want to. So.
And honestly, I've just heard so many good things about Love is Blind. And it's free because it's on Netflix. I mean, everyone's got someone's Netflix account.
Yeah.
So one of the friends that you've broken up with
And
at this
you
point, you have their Netflix account.
The fantastic thing is you can watch it whenever you want because it's always on there, which means if you want, you could like save our recap episodes and just you could listen to everything like in 1 week if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
Which I guess you could do for The Bachelor too, but or you could binge the whole season in one. Yeah, I like that. I like that flexibility.
Me too.
For ourselves as well. Like, because we could really recap everything like over the course of 1 week. We could record everything, which is
thorough too. You know, not trying to cram it in and be like, I think this is how I feel about this.
Well, except I think we'd have to do two episodes per recap.
Yes.
So,
anyways, super excited.
Or we could do a whole 4 weeks of Love is Blind.
I'm kind of into that too.
Me too.
Kind of into that.
We could really get into it.
I think it's only 10 episodes worth anyways, a whole season. So I think we could really do a solid month job, you know?
I like it.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about Clare.
Let's talk about Clare.
Bachelorette.
Okay, broads. Before we get into discussing our now crowning queen of Bachelor Nation, Clare Crawley, I have to let you all know that this week in Los Angeles, we hit 80 degrees, which means it is almost my favorite season. Oh, summer. I remember my favorite season used to be winter, but now having a kid, summer's the ish. So not only does summer mean beach days and warmer evenings, but it means lots of time in our backyard playing, eating, also, let's be honest, drinking, and lounging in our new outdoor furniture by Article. You know, Bekah and I have purchased numerous things from Article. We have dining room tables, we have couches, we now have outdoor furniture. And for both of us, shipping is free. It arrived in less than 2 weeks, and we selected the in-home install option, so we didn't have to do anything except enjoy our wonderful furniture once it was set up. But even if we hadn't picked the install option, it looked really easy to assemble. I'm pretty confident you all could do it, no problem. If you guys haven't checked out the Article site yet, or maybe you have, but it's been a while, the transition into summer is the perfect time to take another look. They have amazing weather-resistant dining sets, loungers, sofas to help you create an outdoor space that you're never going to want to leave at super affordable prices. I am talking saving up to 30% over traditional retail prices, broads. It's amazing. Such good quality, so cute, and affordable. And guess what? It's online furniture stores, so there's no showrooms and there are no salespeople, and you are just going to choose exactly what you want, no pressure. If you're ready to upgrade your space, indoor or outdoor, now is your chance. Go check out their website. I promise you will not be disappointed. So many amazing pieces. Article is offering Chatty Broads listeners, on top of all of this, $50 off their first purchase of $100 or more. $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim the offer, visit article.com/chatty, and the promo code will automatically be applied at checkout. That's article.com/chatty. So I know it's 2020 and there's a million cool new inventions and improvements to products happening all the time, but can someone please explain to me why uterine care and hygiene products feel like they haven't been reinvented or improved upon in ages? Until Lola came on the scene, that is, and thank God, because improvements were long overdue. I can't emphasize how insane it is to me, but the FDA doesn't actually require brands to disclose a comprehensive list of ingredients used in uterine care products, so most of them don't. That is insane. If you use major brands of uterine care products, there's a good chance that you're putting rayon, polyester, fragrances, dyes, and other harsh chemical cleansing agents inside of your body. Lola products, on the other hand, are 100% organic cotton with no added chemicals at all. It's pretty clear that Lola was founded by two women because it checks all the boxes that women want in these products. Number one being they're actually safe to use. Crazy concept, I know. Plus, their customizable subscription boxes make sure you've always got what you need. Start by choosing your product, tampons, pads, liners, wipes, or a combo. Then pick your absorbency, quantity, frequency, and you're done. I am a huge fan of Lola, and we're pretty sure you will be too. Also, the aesthetic, my God. Who knew tampons and pads could look so chic? I thought they could only ever look like 80s roller rinks at nightfall, you know? And for our listeners, Lola is offering 30% off your first month subscription. Just visit mylola.com and enter promo code CHATTY chatty30. That's chatty30 to receive your savings. That's 30% off your first month subscription by going to mylola.com and entering promo code chatty30. Bekah and I are both very excited.
Okay, first of all, I was genuinely shocked.
I was shocked
that this actually happened because Jess first mentioned it to me, and I think I'd seen something. And
I
I was
heard
just
a
like,
rumor. Yeah,
there's always rumors about some,
sure,
like, oh, it's gonna be, I don't know, Maria, who was night 1 3 seasons ago, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, and that's how I felt with Claire. I was like, yeah, okay, sure.
I was convinced. I remember sending that rumor to you, and I was like, I know this is weird and far-fetched, but I heard this, and we were both like, nah, there's no way.
I thought so. Apparently, 3 other women had been flown out to interview, which was Tia, Kelsey, and Tayshia, which all seemed like much more
likely candidates. Yeah.
I actually really thought it would be Tia. I really did.
Yes. I thought it was going to be Kelsey.
Okay.
I was pretty convinced it was going to be Kelsey.
After watching that episode,
the Women Tell All episode, for sure. Yeah.
That definitely would have solidified that theory.
Let me say this. When I saw that Tayshia was an option, I was bummed that it wasn't Tayshia because I'm going to stand by forever that I think she would be a phenomenal Bachelorette.
I don't know though. I just really don't know if I can agree with that, just considering how she was with. No, I guess Paradise is different. But on The Bachelor, is like
Tasha had our heart on Paradise.
No, I know that's what I meant. I immediately was thinking about her on Colton's season and how bleh she was.
But I think if she was the one in charge, like if she was the one handing out roses, like when we saw her in Paradise, I think Tasha would have been an incredible Bachelorette. And who knows, maybe they still will make her one. Look at what they did to us now. They threw in someone from years before.
I don't know. I've just like heard some things, I guess, about just, I don't know, little rumors and stuff about her, like just like wrong reasons stuff.
Really?
About like fame, like also her attitude and different things like that.
I've bumped into her a few times and have had like she is like the coolest loveliest person.
So I've
met
heard
Bachelor
that.
Nation, where I was like, I adore you.
I've heard that. I guess I'm more talking about like on the production side.
Got it.
And then, yeah, certain people questioning stuff about her and John Paul Jones and all, just different things.
Gotcha.
But you know what I will say about Claire?
Tell me.
Dude, okay. So I'm going to get into all the other reasons why I'm really excited, but Claire is like really sweet, sometimes misguided and a little all over the place, but really authentic and really wants to find love.
She wants to find love.
Like she really does. She's
Yes.
38 and
she's going to turn 39 while she's on the show.
And she just like, I don't know. I hung out with her for an evening when we were at like some charity thing. She's just really nice too. Like some people. Okay, let's get into that not personal side. My interactions with her, she's just always really, really sweet and just really nice to everyone from what I saw. And when we were at the charity thing, like, you know, it's like you're interacting with a bunch of different people. And she's like, and there's certain people that are at stuff like that. And they're kind of like sitting in the corner talking with other Bachelor people, sipping their drink, just kind of like thinking they're better than everyone. And she totally doesn't have that attitude.
Really? Oh, that's nice.
She's like really down to earth and like just like sincere.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, she is kind of like misguided and all over the place. Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about like how you felt about her on like Paradise seasons and all that?
She, like I said, when I first saw Juan Pablo's, but I don't quite remember because I don't think that I watched like really intently Juan Pablo's season. I was kind of in and out because he was just a disaster, which was entertaining now looking back on it. But she, I think, was kind of painted in the light because she was the one who was more intensely set out to win Juan Pablo's heart than the other women.
Okay.
So she was kind of, I think, painted a little bit as the villain, if I remember correctly.
Like super competitive and just like wrong reasons-y.
Yes. And you know how she kind of, the way she always has like this very sensual energy about her. She kind of speaks very like in this very like sexy way. And I think that's just how she is. But before you saw her then on Paradise and Winter Games, it was like, what is this situation that's going on? And then you got like, I think when you saw her more, you're like, oh, you're just kind of have this energy, and I like it. And I think, like you said, I think she's gonna be a great Bachelorette because I think she brings the drama, but she is sweet and she does want to find love. And I am so psyched that The Bachelor has decided to choose a woman who is going to be 39 during filming. Like the oldest Bachelorette we've gotten is Rachel, and she turned 32 while she was filming. This is quite a big jump.
Wow.
39. And I've seen so many people send like messages and post things and be like, this is going to be the grossest season of Bachelor in Paradise ever, because all the girls that are going to be from Peter's season are 23 and all the guys who are going to be from her season are going to be like 40. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm sure they're going to mix it up well. Second, who knows? Maybe Claire asked for only 23-year-old men. Okay.
Also,
so, who knows?
To actually shut that down, I was actually on... I was trolling Reality Steve's page a lot, actually, for Bachelorette stuff. They cast it before they even know who the lead is. All the guys were already cast, like it seems like before they even chose Claire.
Really?
Meaning that he already has 10 of the 20-something guys, and no one's older than early 30s. So they were they basically just standardly stock cast everything, because they're casting. This is what he said, and it makes sense when I was thinking about it. He said they're casting for the show. They're not casting for the lead. Like they're not really casting to like find
someone.
Exactly. They're casting for a TV show. So the meld of guys, like the meld, is that a word? Yeah. The mix of guys that they're putting together are like for the show. And yeah, apparently the age range that he has so far are mid 20s to early 30s. So it's not looking like, which I sort of feel bad for her in that regard. Cause I'd be like, when I'm 38, I'd be like, no, I don't want to date a 27-year-old. I'm sorry. Like that, maybe yes, but also like, I'm really serious about this.
I wonder if then the second half of the guys that they'll cast will then be more in her age demo.
Well, I think they already are all cast. Reality Steve just doesn't have them yet.
Interesting.
But he said, you know, they could drop some people could drop out, and then they'll have to recast. And I'm sure they've got to have someone who's her age.
They have to.
I mean,
yeah,
that's fucked.
also, like, again, you guys want to talk about it being like, it'll be weird in Paradise. Listen, Nick Viall was 36, and the girls in his season, we had like a 24-year-old, we had a 23. Like, I mean, come on, Ari. Yeah. It was,
which I guess people were saying that was gross too. So, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like Paradise is going to probably have an age range of 23 to like 35
maybe.
Yeah. I bet that's what it's going to look like. And there's nothing wrong or weird with it. Are you kidding me? Come on.
No, that's not that big of a deal. Also, don't worry. We're going to have the cast of Listen to Your Heart on too.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some of those guys too.
Well, also, the thing that I'm happy about her being the Bachelorette is, one, unlike, just because of generationally, she's like divorced from the clout aspect of it. Like Claire, before she got announced for the Bachelorette, had like on the low end of 300 something thousand followers. She's just doing her thing as a hairstylist. Like she's not already an influencer, anything like that. And so I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I just like it because it does feel fresh. And you know what? A lot of people felt this way with Ari's season, and a lot of people then ended up hating Ari's season. But I remember even just being cast for the show, I was like, cool. Like it's someone new. Like it's someone we don't already have like polarizing feelings about because we don't really remember them that well. So I like that aspect of it.
Me too.
And then also like, I don't know, just like with this past season of girls, I'm like, no, I don't want Madison or Hannah Ann or Kelsey. Like
that's the thing. I didn't want. I mean, I was down
like
with Kelsey.
Was fine.
I was down
Tia's
with Kelsey,
fine.
but I still I like that they're mixing it up, and I do appreciate that the ABC, that the franchise is casting an older woman. Like
I also like that they're not. I thought they would continue on down the path because they've just been getting such crazy ratings from like Hannah and Peter's season.
Yep, that they
and
were.
They're like, nope, fuck you. It's someone you don't know.
I'm wondering if they're doing it because if let's just say Peter doesn't, end up engaged to somebody, they probably want to see one that's actually going to work.
This is now the 3rd season in a row.
So it's like, all right, let's actually have a hookup so that people keep faith in the process.
Yeah, for real. Because I really think Peter's season's about to be the 3rd season in a row where no one gets engaged. Mm-hmm. Which is just ridiculous, you know? So I think Claire also tells it like it is, from what I remember. Like she does. She is not going to hold back.
I remember you didn't watch Winter Games. There was this one guy I think he was a German guy, and he was like leading her on, and she tore him a new one, like straight up. But then she got engaged to Benoit. So she's like, listen, she's going to be good. She's going to be good TV. So all of you who are like, I don't know who she is, this is annoying, I'm bummed, I can guarantee on my life this is going to be good television. But I think she's really, really, really wanting to find somebody. So I think it's going to be dramatic, but I think it's also, there's a high likelihood that maybe Claire's going to find her person, which is exciting.
It is.
And I think that, the other thing that I was hearing people say is they're like, no, like, what the hell, ABC? She's had her chance. She's been on it like 100 times.
Hello, Nick Viall.
And I'm just like, look at one of the most beloved people in the Bachelor franchise with someone like Nick, you know, and it took, and everyone, and that's the thing. He went on 2 seasons and then he did Paradise and everyone was like, oh. And then when Nick got cast as the Bachelor, people are like, are you kidding me? He's already had his chance. He's like 37, da, 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 da. Like, I don't know. People were annoyed about the same thing. And he ended up being a lot of people's favorite Bachelor.
It was a good season.
It was a great season.
Now and then people will counter that and be like, what about Ari's season? Which I still thought, I
thought it was a great season also. Yes. Did he break Sweet Bekah's heart? Yes.
Well, that had nothing to do with him being washed up or being old. That's for sure. That was just
now, but also Ari has a child with a woman he loves.
Helped him find his person, and they're like perfect for each other. So it's like that could happen to. I don't know. I think it'll be fun, and I do like. I actually was pretty bummed when I read the thing about that Reality Steve said too, because I was thinking too, I'm like, we're going to get dudes cast who are going to be like upper 30s, early 40s. Like, Rods, yes.
Listen to me right now. I am devastated because of this. I am a 31-year-old woman, okay? Younger men aren't my thing. I was really hoping that I was going to see some daddies, okay? Give me the 40-year-olds. Give me the gray right on the temple. Oh my Lord.
At the very least, even if older men aren't your thing, wouldn't you like to see a season full of like people who are maybe actually ready to get married and like are serious about like finding their wife?
Yes. But also for some of us women who are watching it who aren't 18, like give us the men's.
Yes.
Give us.
And for some of us 18-year-olds out there who are stoked for the 42-year-olds.
I was about to say too, 18-year-old Jessica still wanted the 40-year-old guys.
Yeah, I was going to say. Also, it's been a couple seasons since we've had parents. I don't think there was any parents on.
You're so right.
Was there any on Hannah's?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think there was any on Colton's, Hannah's, or Peter's. No.
Was there one on Colton's?
I feel like that would have been discussed.
I feel like maybe there was one, but I think, I don't know.
Like maybe a night oneer or something. Yeah. But there hasn't been anyone who's been like the mom or the dad.
Wow.
And I mean, that's got to happen on this season,
God,
right?
Yes.
I'm ready. I like it because bringing Claire back feels like bringing back a little bit of the old Bachelor.
Yeah.
The olden days before the Instagram stuff. So I'm like, I don't know. I thought she was, so fun on Paradise.
I thought
such a hot mess and
I loved
lovable.
Her. And like I said, I have to rewatch now Juan Pablo's season because I remember having certain feelings. But again, I was watching this numerous years ago. You
didn't have the critical thinking cap.
I didn't have the critical thinking cap. I also didn't have an insider like you telling me about certain things. So I didn't understand some of the behind the scenes, certain editing tactics. Like I think I just bought what ABC was selling me.
Interesting.
So I'd be interested to now watch again because I did really like her in the other seasons that she was in.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited.
So I'm excited. At the very least, I'm just thrilled that there won't be a bunch of clout chasing 22-year-olds like me having a shot at The Bachelor. I don't think it's fun. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's just mix it up. Yeah, we've had a couple of that for a couple seasons now. Let's bring back kind of an OG. I'm
let's
excited.
keep an open mind, people. It's something new. The season was a train wreck with Peter. These girls were crazy.
And also, I will say this, a lot of the people were like, how dare ABC, this is not who we asked for, blah, blah, blah. But ABC also heard you when you posted your billion memes saying, I hate this episode. Can we start over? So maybe ABC's going like, okay, everyone hated it, even though the numbers were crazy.
Let's wash our hands.
Let's wash our hands and we'll move on and we'll try this and see how people like this. I don't know.
I'm in. Oh, can we just talk about too how it's just like, it's not Hannah B also, which for me personally, I breathed a sigh of relief.
I wasn't wanting it that either. Well, though they did approach Hannah B. But
supposedly, yeah.
Supposedly they approached Hannah B, but the paycheck was not big enough.
Which, by the way, is
understood.
No, it's actually really dumb because...
Why?
The money she's going to make is not from the 400 or 500K or whatever she was asking for The Bachelorette. Honey.
I heard she was asking for $1 million.
Bitch, it's in the 1.5 million more followers she's going to gain from the season, therefore securing her bag for the next however many years making money on the internet. This is my guess.
I think she would have missed the Dancing with the Stars tour, which was also paying her really good money.
Yeah.
So she would have said no to that money. And I personally think she probably wants to be done. Because think about this. You're the Bachelorette. You blow up. You become the biggest the most followed person in Batch Nation. All this. Also,
all the criticism that people like us are throwing.
Yes, and then all of a sudden, someone goes, "You know what? We think we want to do you round 2." And then I would
be like, yes.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And in the back of your head, you're probably like, okay,
but also maybe not.
It would be good, but maybe I'm burnt out. But you're probably tempted to be like, okay, well, maybe if you give me this much money, I'll consider it. So I bet I would imagine that's what she was doing. Well, she probably really didn't want to do it that much, would rather do the Dancing with the Stars tour. But then when you're offered it, it's like, should I say no to this?
I'm just saying, if we're going to look at the money aspect, like the longevity and the increase in audience and like securing your spot, being just able to make a passive income online, is the return is so much greater taking a lower paycheck from ABC for The Bachelorette.
I'm imagining maybe she actually didn't want to do it, so she threw out a number.
That I get. I just keep saying I keep seeing everyone saying the thing of like, ABC didn't offer her enough. And I was like, yeah, but ABC offered her to like grow her audience and her platform that much bigger. So it was like the financial thing didn't make sense. But you saying that, it's like, yeah, I would probably be... I mean, I'm saying, I'd say yes, but even after coming off The Bachelor, I was like, I don't really want to go on Paradise that much. Well, and also
she went straight from The Bachelorette to Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. I mean, it probably just so burnt, and that the idea of doing it again is like, I know I probably should for longevity, but I'm also so over this. That
I respect, just being like, I'm done with it. That makes sense.
So I'm going to throw out a big number, and if they say yes, maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Knowing they'll probably say no.
That makes sense.
You know, I don't know.
I just think maybe it was her being like, that's not enough money. I'm Hannah B now. You fool. You fool.
Broads, just thinking about all the potentially uncomfortable situations that we are going to see our new queen, Bachelorette Clare, get put into by production is giving me stress. The idea of there not being daddies on this season is giving me stress. All this stress, what is a lady to do with it? Well, I know when I'm feeling stressed or any sort of anxiety, my absolute go-to is FEALS Premium CBD. And in fact, the past couple years, I've been dealing with a lot of back pain. I don't know if it's because of my old age of 31, but it's terrible. And let me tell you, when that back pain hits, it is a game over. You can forget being productive for the rest of the day. It is so inconvenient. But now I know when I feel that back pain coming on or that stress or anxiety, all I have to do is place a few drops of FEALS under my tongue, and literally within minutes, I can start to notice the difference and get back to my day. That's one of my favorite parts about this whole subscription service piece to it too. I know that I always have some FEALS available on hand when that back pain hits, when that stress hits, because it's always at the worst possible times. And the last thing I feel like doing is going on a hunt for a remedy, and I know that FEALS always pulls through. I know for me, before I started using CBD for my stress and anxiety, I was, go figure, anxious about it. What's the right dose? Will I get addicted? Is it going to make me feel high? What's the come down like? Any concern I had completely went away after my first use. There's zero hangover or come down side effects. The dosage is really easy to adjust depending on how you're feeling that day. And if you have any questions whatsoever, FEALS offers a free CBD hotline where you can ask any question you want at any time. FEALS has me feeling my best every day, and it can help you too. Become a member today by going to feals.com/chatty, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. And that's FEALS spelled FEALS. So that's feals.com/chatty, FEALS.com/chatty for 50% off your first order.
All right, well, let's get into this episode and talk about some friend stuff. And also, by the way, I'm going to, Justin and I have a meeting after that.
We have a very important meeting. There's some good things coming up, coming down the pike. So Becca's going to be putting makeup on.
Just for the YouTube viewers.
Which, to be honest, actually, I feel like makes this...
So this is a makeup tutorial and an episode in one. Lucky you all.
Perfect. It also kind of makes it feel, it's like... It's appropriate for a friendship.
Right.
A friendship
you chatting
breakup.
with your friend,
yeah,
putting on your makeup?
We're talking all about like, friends breaking up. So when we had this breakup episode that we did, I don't know, what was it? Maybe, I don't know, a couple months ago, two months ago, we had a breakup, like a general breakup episode. Yeah. We had a lot of you slide into the DMs being like, we really like this episode, but honestly, something that I've struggled with a lot is a breakup with my friend, right? And I kind of started to think about it, and I'm thinking, honestly, sometimes having a breakup with a friend is way worse than a breakup with a significant other.
I'm going to be really straight up. I've never personally experienced one that's been that bad.
Okay, tell me
like as bad as a breakup.
Okay.
I've never personally experienced
Have you ever
that.
had like a friend, like, did you cut off someone or did you get cut off? I mean, I know your story that you told us.
We did talk about friends really, really early on, like in the first 10 episodes. I think it was
the third episode, or no, like the fifth episode, I think.
So I could probably talk about a lot of this again, and probably a lot of you haven't heard about it. I mean, I've had friendships dissolve suddenly, and sometimes they were upsetting, and I didn't really understand why. And I've had to cut off friendships. I mean, yeah, maybe I've never experienced like a super devastating one. And sometimes like when it's a lot of friends I've retained for a long time, honestly, and the ones that have gotten cut, it was usually like time. No matter which one cut it, I normally was like relieved after.
So you were ready for it to be done.
Maybe I didn't know it at the time, but once they were out of my life, I was like, I don't miss this person.
Well, I think that's sometimes what like
a real breakup is like.
Yeah, but also I feel like sometimes that is one of the parts about the friendship breakup that can make it either like the most devastating or something that just like if you let it happen organically.
Why don't you talk about one of your like friendship breakups?
I mean, there have been so many. I cut people. I'm literally I am a salon owner of friends. Just
take a little off here, a little off there.
One misstep, you're out of my life. Okay. No, I've had a lot of friendship breakups that ended up kind of coming back around like as I got older. But I think a lot of that, to be honest, just has to do with age for me, because it just took a certain amount of years for us to come back around and be kind of like, hey. But what I am a serial...
And for people to own up to about like stuff they did wrong, you can admit when you're wrong.
I mean, I'm like, this is like serial Jess though, is that I, for so many years of my life, was such an avoider, is that when there was like problems in a relationship, that I would just slowly like missed out big time.
Oh, a ghoster.
Yeah. And I wouldn't ever like officially ghost. It would just be like, I would stop coming to events and I would be very late to return calls.
Because you were like upset about something?
A lot of times it was because I was upset. Yeah. So what would happen was, because I was horrible at confrontation, that I didn't have like the cojones to be like, hey, I want to sit down with you and talk about the fact that you're doing this and this is like really hurting me.
Yeah.
I would just let it build up and get more and more angry. And then this poor person would have literally no idea like how angry I was, right? But I mean, that's definitely changed in later years for me. But it took a really long time, and it took a lot of friendships ending this way
that you didn't want to end, like
that
ultimately.
I didn't, yeah. And then I looked back on, because there were some friendships in my life that it's like you were saying, they ended and it was kind of like you step away and you go, you know what, this was better for both of us anyways. Yeah. Like we were both ready to be like to have moved forward. But at the same time, there were then numerous relationships with people that I loved so deeply, and you
let it go,
and I let it go. Mm-hmm. And that shit eats away at you, because then all of a sudden you
it's
bump
like the one
into
that
them,
got away,
kind of
with your friend.
Oh yeah, there was two particular people in my life who that happened with. One was like my very best girlfriend through high school, and then through part of college, and I guess through all of college for the most part. And like right after college, stuff just started getting weird between us.
Why do you think?
I think life a little bit. And I think a lot of times that's just what it is. Like we both had boyfriends, and I think there was some weird competition that started to happen.
What do you mean? Like,
who's going to get engaged first?
Oh.
Whose boyfriend loves them more?
I'm like, are you guys dating the same guy? Like,
but it was a little bit like we were all in the same friend group, and everyone was kind of watching both of us, knowing like, these two.
You guys were set for similar paths, and it was sort of like who's going to make it down the path first.
Yes, and then when one person would move forward, all the other friends would talk like about the other couple, like, oh wow, maybe they're not as like, and it was just, there was this weird competitive nature that was always there. And it was weird because I'm not competitive in that way at all, and she isn't either, but it was almost like
you found yourselves
destiny,
playing into
like,
it.
Yes, exactly. And it was so stupid. And so we just started to get like, kind of, we would hurt each other constantly, and we would hurt each other in different ways. Like she would say things to me that would be a little bit like snippy and biting, and I would like throw positive things in her face a little bit.
What? Okay, expand upon this.
No, so like she'd maybe make a comment about something about Evan, like, oh, if I was in your shoes, I don't know if I'd be so confident about this, blah, blah, blah. And then I would just be like, oh, well, you know, my husband or my boyfriend did this for me, instead of just keeping my mouth shut. You know what I mean? And it just started to like,
he brings me flowers like
exactly. And so then it just
to try to make her feel a little insecure about hers.
It was so fucking dark. It was so dark, so passive aggressive. And then we ended up getting to this point where it just started to get like, every time we hung out, we both knew it was so awkward and weird. And I missed out on like this friendship with her for a really long time. And I missed her for like probably 2 years in my life.
Holy shit.
Yeah, where it just like we'd see each other in groups of friends, and we would just be really weird with each other because neither of us
were going to acknowledge
it, because neither of us felt like we had initially done anything wrong. It was almost like we just found ourselves in that situation due to other people around us kind of poking the bear. You know what I mean? Like some of her friends didn't like me, and some of my friends didn't like her. So they were always there was someone in your ear always, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah. But then her and I ended up making up, and it was wonderful. I don't remember who texted who and said, hey, we need to sit down and get together and hash this out. And it was hard. And there was a lot of like, we were arguing, and it didn't happen. We hashed it out, and then we didn't move forward right away. It took a long time to kind of get back. But I mean, there was that. And then there was also, I've talked about Jenna Rainey, who was on our show. Yeah. Her and I had that happen for a long time because post-baby, we were in very different, she started a business and was busy. I had a baby and was busy. We were both hurting each other's feelings because we weren't being there. Yeah, exactly. And they weren't being met. And then it just started to get weird, and we didn't communicate. Both of these were due to not communicating. With my the first friend I was speaking to, if I would have just been straight up with her and been like, hey, when you say that shit, it hurts my feelings. Why are we being competitive? Well, you know that this is just other people in our ear right now. We love each other. When we're alone, we adore the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
We've been like sisters for years. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
But because you didn't communicate, you know. But I was lucky in those situations to have friendships that came back around. But I think it's just so important to always acknowledge the ones that don't.
I guess I haven't had any kind of like monumental breakup experience, but there was a friend in high school, and basically we became friends really, really fast and like really close really fast, as that can happen in high school and throughout other parts of your life where you just get super stoked on someone. You're like, let's spend every waking moment together. Yeah. And she basically had a lot of traumatic shit happen in 1 year that then I was kind of also handling like as the best friend. And then there was just basically one tipping point where I was just sort of like, yeah, I'm not going to really do this anymore. And I was just kind of like, it was just all of a sudden very obvious between both of us after this thing happened. And it happened to her. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not really like equipped to deal with this. And we just both sort of knew it.
Yeah.
And we both just sort of like we were in classes together, and I guess we just like stopped. It's weird to think about some of this stuff now when you're an adult and
when
you're
like drift away and you're like, what the
But like
hell?
in the course of a week after all this had happened, it was like, what, we just like ignored each other when we were in the same room, like in class? I'm not really sure what happened, but I definitely like regret, and we sort of like talked about it later, and like, we follow each other on Instagram, we'll reply to stuff. And I think I actually even apologized to her, and I'm like, I should have been more there for you during that time. But so I regretted not being more present. But then at times I'm also like, maybe I wasn't like equipped to handle the role that I had in her life at that point. And neither of us were unfortunately emotionally mature enough to be able to have a conversation about like emotional boundaries, because I don't think I even knew how to set those for myself at the age of 16 or 17. And so I just sort of removed myself. And so sometimes I feel sad about that. And then other times I'm like, well, I don't really know what else I could have done given the lack of tools I had to set boundaries and that kind of thing.
It's just hard because I feel like literally we're just inundated with like movies and books about romantic breakup. And then there's so few like, and then you have a friendship breakup and there's like, here's no advice for you. And the thing that I feel like is hard about friendship breakups is it feels sometimes way more personal.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
I was about to say there's tips on like how to navigate even like breaking up with someone romantically.
Yes. It's like, here are tips. Or also, we see you. We acknowledge your pain. Like, how often are you there for somebody when their boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with them, but when like there's a friend breakup, you just don't get as much
because it's the best friend that
empathy.
Would normally be there for you.
Yes. And then all of a sudden you got nobody and you're like, oh my God, I don't have anybody. And there's not any sort of, I feel like there's not a lot of like conversation about it. And because it is so personal, that's the thing that like kind of boggles my mind, that there's not more. Because with a romantic relationship, it can just all add up to the chemistry's not there. We lost attraction for each other. Our lifestyles didn't match up, whatever. But when you're friends with somebody and there's a breakup that has to happen, it's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm bothering you, or I'm too much for you to handle, or you just don't like me anymore, like as a human being.
So that's more of the side that I've really had a hard time grappling with is, what do you do? And I remember we talked about this on like episode 5. Yeah. I'm like, what do you do when you don't want to be friends with someone anymore? How the fuck do you break up with someone who you don't want to be friends with? Because like you said, you could just, with the romantic one, it's just like, this isn't working between us. But with a friend, it's literally like, I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
It's so hard because I feel like there's literally two options. It's either one, you either one, you sit down and you communicate and have the most uncomfortable conversation
Not to mention,
of
like,
all time. Hurtful. You know you're going to hurt someone. Obviously, you have to do it in like the gentlest way possible and be like, I just feel like right now maybe we're in different places and I'm not equipped to be there for you and da da da. Or you do slowly do the fade out.
Which, to be brutally honest, if someone wanted to break up with me, I would rather them fade out.
I prefer the fade out, but I think some people are different though.
I've had a situation where basically a girl wouldn't stop like hounding me. It was someone who I made the mistake of getting whirlwinded friendship. It was when I first moved to LA, and we would go out together, and I was like, she's so fun. And then I was like, you start to notice red flags about people where you're like, oh, this girl doesn't have any relationships that extend beyond the past year.
Yes.
And I was like, that's a red flag. And then there was just lots of, there was other things too, where it was like it was like a dating red flag, where like the way she would treat like waiters and stuff like that.
That's a big one.
Yeah. And I was just like, we're not on the same like wavelength.
Yeah.
And we don't have the same goals in life and all that kind of stuff. So I started fading, and basically, and this is only a few months into our friendship. So I feel a little more comfortable fading on someone if it's only been a few months. I'm like, they'll get the hint. It's not working out.
Yeah.
It's like the early stages of our dating relationship. You just kind of get some distance.
Sure.
Well, it was like she literally was like, why don't you want to like hang out with me or be friends with you? Like,
and you had to just tell her.
I was just like, I did it like a breakup. I was like, I think we're moving in different directions.
Oh God, no, it's so painful.
I think that, which was true. I was like, I think we have different goals in life. But Jess.
I'm sweating.
Jess.
Yeah.
She basically comes back and is like, I don't see that. I think we do have the same goals in life. And I think you and I like really like help each other.
Are meant to be together.
Like, yeah, basically it was like she was like, I think that we help each other like achieve the goals that we want to, and like I don't see that.
And you're like,
and I sort of had to be like, well, I don't see things the same way, and this is just, I don't know, I don't even remember how I came back with that. I think I was maybe like, well, here's an example of us not being on the same page. Like, we're not on the same page. And I had to explicitly be like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't.
That is insane.
I know. Thankfully, though, we didn't like basically any mutual friends we had developed. I also thought they were all shit people. And so I sort of was like, I had blocked all their other numbers, and hers, I just I
feel like that's kind of the thing, right? So maybe the fade, maybe the relationship fade, if you can pull it off, works when you're not like best friends, still live next to each other. Like that to me is when it gets like really unfair, which by the way, I did that and it was messed up of me with my like original friend. But we did a mutual ghosting, so it ended up working out okay. But when you have someone who's like, this has been your best friend forever, you live in the same town, you live close to each other, and you're just like, this is not working out for me and this is draining me. I think that's when you have to literally have like the most uncomfortable conversation ever.
Oh my God. See, okay, I'm not going to lie. I have don't worry. It's none of my friends who are listening right now. I'm looking for my friend. They're going to be like, is this me?
Like,
no.
Is it me?
No. I like have a friend who we just have a lot of history.
Yeah.
And like, I would be okay with it dissolving because it's really exhausting for me. But like, I know she doesn't feel the same way.
Sure. I think a lot of people probably would relate to that statement.
What do? Do you just keep trucking? Here's the thing. Okay.
I think is it draining enough for you to be like, I have to have the conversation? Or is it like, okay, I can kind of be a little bit like, I can fade in the background a little bit. And then when she calls, it's like, okay, I can do this every once in a while. I can have the conversations every once in a while. But if it's too draining, then it's kind of like, I don't know what to tell you. I just can't, I don't have like the emotional capacity to handle this with you right now.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not like the emotional capacity. Like sometimes it's just them. Like okay, because here's the thing. I hear you because I had another friend that I felt this way about, but also The difference was she was a bad friend. So then there's this other aspect.
Yes.
I had this one friend who like, she was a bad friend. There had been lots of times where it was just like,
there's some toxic friendships, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. And it was a one-way street and all this stuff. And it got to the point where one night out, she did something. And I basically was like, this is my cue to exit out. Like, I've got a lot of stuff going on in my life. And I just like literally never returned her phone calls or texts again. I did. And she knew why. And we had mutual friends that she would talk about it with. Yeah. And I was just like, no, dude, I'm done. We'd already had a friendship breakup before, but I had sort of like let her back into my life. But I'm not talking about that. Like, I'm talking about when you don't have any like good excuse, when you're literally like, I don't like you anymore. And it's just that simple.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Like I said, I think that's when you have to make the choice of whether if it's worth it or not to you to cut it off.
I just don't feel like I can hurt someone like that.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, I can't think of any.
I've had relationships in my life like that too, where I'm kind of like, hey, I'm not in the same headspace as you, like thinking how close we are. You drained me and I can't be here for you. And I've done my best to try to just like diminish out of this person's life. But this person just keeps coming back. And at this point, like here I am, you know, and but it's very rare. Every once in a while, the phone call or the text is it's minimal. It's rare that I'm getting it. And so now you're kind of like, okay, I'm occasionally here I can deal with it. And I'd rather just deal with it and not hurt her feelings. And I can just be like, you know what? I don't want to hurt this person. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just not someone that it's someone that like I kind of fell into a relationship with due to my husband's business. So you're kind of like, okay, well, here we are. And, you know, I and you really connected and I just don't feel the same way. And that's okay. It happens sometimes.
That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Where instead of it being like a former like close friend.
No, that's that to me, I think with a former close friend, I would probably say sometimes if it's not like a toxic,
stick it out for the rest of your life.
If it's not a toxic situation, just try to keep as much distance as you can unless you want to like have the conversation of like why this person is bothering you.
I'm actually like really curious what the broads have to say about this kind of situation.
Me too.
And like,
this is not something that I have figured out by any stretch of the imagination. This is something that I've like continued to try to process through.
How do I get rid of this person?
There are a few people in my life right now, broads, so please let me know. No, but I think that, I don't know. I think that it really is so dependent on the situation and the person. I saw this one quote from Dr. Dina DiNardo, and she said, we are attracted to and connect with people during particular times in our lives. If we're doing our best to live consciously and grow, we have to recognize that means we might not always grow alongside someone or in the same direction as someone, which I think is important to remember if you're on the other side too. Like when someone starts kind of evaporating out of your life or sits down and has this brutal conversation with you, as devastating as it may feel, sometimes the important thing I think to remind yourself is like, people are here for a season. Sometimes people are here for a certain time and place in your life. Like sometimes you move to a new city and go to college and you have that freshman friend who you don't have any other friends and you find this person and you guys love each other and you're so close. But then the next year you're kind of in a different place and that was the person who was there for that time in the season. It doesn't mean that they did anything wrong or you did anything wrong. But I think sometimes when we hold on to someone too tight for too long, we start to give them character traits that we don't like. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like instead of recognizing, hey, this person was here for a time and a season, I'm seeing us kind of drift apart. I'm going to let it happen organically instead of forcing it. I think when you start to force it, that's when you're like, you know what? She actually is really annoying when she does that. And you start to get a little bitter.
That's insightful.
So I feel like if you just move forward in relationships, realizing that they don't necessarily
this person
mean
holds
lifelong.
a different place. Yeah. And also just like, even if you're still in that relationship, instead of harboring resentment, it could just be like, this person has a different role in my life right now than they used to.
Exactly.
And then also, yeah, if you're on the other end of it, of getting broken up with, like, maybe I just don't hold the, I mean, granted, this is something I talked about on the earlier episode. I had someone like just straight up ghost me out of fucking nowhere. Like I'm talking,
that was crazy.
I won't get into it like I did. You can listen to
it's
our old
episode 5, I believe.
Yeah.
It's called Female Friendships, I think.
Yeah, I had a friend where like we had been friends for a couple years, and like I literally went to her like getaway birthday party with like her and her other 4 friends for a weekend, and then like literally the week after she never talked to me again. Like straight up, I was just like, hey, I noticed that she deleted me off Snapchat. Then I noticed that she had unfollowed me on Instagram, and like, or I think she might have blocked me on some different platforms.
That was wild. But that person also seemed like a toxic friend
I
towards
guess,
the end.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I even remember messaging her. I was like, look, clearly you don't want to be around me anymore. I get that. Just curious. I text her. I was like, just curious. She may have blocked me. I don't know. It's like, just curious if I like did something to warrant this. Like, if not, whatever, you know, peace to you. But I was sort of like, hey, I want to make it right. Like, we don't have to be friends moving forward. But like, if I did something wrong, like, let me know. Since it was literally like we hung out all weekend and then she just never talked to me again. Yeah, and then I never got any response. So that was really perplexing to me because I was sort of like,
oh yeah, that shit'll drive you crazy.
What the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
Or didn't I do? And there must have been something. And like I was never able to quite figure out like what I may have done.
And I think the best that someone can do in that situation is what you did, is reach out and be like, hey,
no pressure to be friends. I get you don't want to do that.
But like, can you let me know so I can grow if I did something wrong or whatever? And if that person chooses not to respond, then
I guess you're just not that into me anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that's really hard too, because like our friendship was not like best friends. And I have heard of people just straight up like their best friend just ghosting on them.
Wild. That's so painful. So painful.
And it's hard too, because, you know, hearing myself talk about the like friends I don't want to be friends with anymore. Like you normally say to people, the thing to say is like, that person lacks the maturity and like that's on them. But then it's also like, well, maybe, you know, maybe they didn't want to be friends with you anymore. And you know,
and I think that it is important to, if all that happens, as painful as this sounds, and I don't want it to sound insensitive, like it is important to look sometimes at yourself, and sometimes it has nothing to do with you, and sometimes it might. Yeah. And sometimes it's something that you need to work on, or sometimes it's something that it's like, hey, you know what? It just wasn't for that person, and they didn't have the sensitivity to be a good friend and end it in more of a communicative way.
Yeah, I think for certain people like myself, it's good to ask, like I said, like myself, it's good to ask, like, what was I possibly not giving this relationship? Really evaluating, was this relationship a two-way street? Did I offer this person was there equal giving and taking between this relationship? And get honest with yourself about that. Yeah. But then there's other people where it's like, maybe you were always giving and just realize like, you know what? Sometimes like you won't be enough for people, and that's just part of life and doesn't really reflect on you and what you're not doing or what you are doing. And sometimes it just reflects on that you're not for that person right now in their life.
Yeah, and that's okay. And it's so painful. But I was looking like when I couldn't find, oh my goodness, like any sort of like friendship breakup books or whatever. Like I was looking at different.
Are there really none?
Not ones that I could find pretty like fairly easily. There's a couple out there, but not compared to the mass amount of breakup, like how to get through heartbreak in a romantic relationship. But I found a couple different like psychologists talking about tips to help move forward, and I thought some of these were so good. One of the ones for me that like hit really hard is, after this happens, don't forget the good parts of your friendship.
Kind of like a breakup.
So it's like when,
Like,
and
don't
again,
paint this person in a villainous light.
Yeah, and again, we're not talking about like a friendship that's like unbelievably toxic where the person was like verbally beating you down constantly.
Right.
Like we're talking about one of these, like your friends, and maybe a little bit of stuff happens, or
Going
they
in different
ghost you, or
directions.
yeah, exactly. You go in different directions and you feel kind of bitter because maybe it didn't end the way that you wanted it to, or whatever. It's so important not to forget the good parts. And I know that like that hit home for me for sure, because it's so easy to start like mind grinding about like, oh, you know what? Fuck them. I didn't like when they, and start to like list all the things that you didn't like about them. And it's okay to
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's
good
okay.
for relationships that you're like friendships you're in at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment it's really important. Sometimes maybe like the friendship that you were talking about, like, yeah, there's really some parts that are really obnoxious, but
Right.
there are some really valuable things. And it's like, why were you friends with that person in the first place? And almost kind of like building like a little altar in your little mind history to why that person was impactful and good for you at that time.
I
kinda
like
just,
the way you phrase it. Like, yes, a tribute
yeah.
to all that they gave you and like that you were able to give them.
Yeah,
and the memories you were able to share.
Yeah, and not just think about all the negative stuff.
I like that.
You know?
But how about like, how do you move on? Did you find any advice on this on like, how do you move on when they were like the one, when you thought that they were like your best, you're the Thelma to your Louise, the like, you know, like that. How do you move on from the friend you thought, because you know how that happens in relationships where you can't stop comparing when you start dating new people. It's gotta be like that when you lose a best friend. You're like, no one's gonna compare to the inside jokes we shared.
So
like,
this was one that I saw kind of involving that. And I thought, again, this one fucking hit home because I'm so wired this way. It said, okay. Appreciate who is currently in your life. Do not isolate. Look for a new friend. So the idea that it's almost like that relationship thing, right? Where you're like, I just broke up with the one. I thought this person was my forever, blah, blah, blah. It's that moment where, and I've had this before, where a friendship ends and it was my best friend and I'm devastated and I'm hearing this person talk negatively about me and you just feel sick to your stomach. And there's all of a sudden these maybe other people around you, maybe, you know, whether you're at work or, you know, at a small group at church or like wherever you are, there's maybe some of these other people around you. And there's someone there who's kind of being a listening ear to you. And sometimes you don't give that person the time of day as like your friend, but they are kind of reaching out and being your friend. And
she was right there in front of me all along and I never knew it.
You know, but I was thinking when I read that, I was like, oh my God, I've done that before where I like don't just appreciate who's in front of me. I remember there was this one girl that when I was working at this PR firm that she was my desk buddy and she was dope and she wanted to always go out afterwards and get drinks and we connected, but I was really kind of stuck in this friendship breakup. And I really didn't give our relationship the time of day. And I think I missed out on a really good friend. And I think when you look at friends as people who maybe you're going to have a friend who's going to be in your life for forever, right? Just like a relationship. Maybe this person is your forever, or maybe you'll be with them for 2 years and then you'll break up. So it's like, if you look at friendships kind of in that potential, you're like, well, if I have a friendship breakup, then maybe this person who's sitting right next to me in my cubicle might be the next friend that I have who's going to be who I need in this moment in my life to move forward. And maybe I can offer them that friendship too. Okay, broads, we have to pause because I need to tell you a tale. A tale of a meeting I had the other day. Yes, another meeting we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about another meeting later on in this episode. We're so fancy and so grown up now. All we do is grown up meetings. So I had a meeting the other day with a bunch of grown ups. Yes, I probably shouldn't call them grown ups because I am also a grown up, but I don't feel like an adult. So here we are. So I had a meeting with a bunch of grown ups. It was going so well. The vibe was great. The energy was flowing. And as we were all getting up to leave, one of the grown ups suggested that we exchange numbers. But of course, and they all start pulling out their gorgeous custom business cards. And then they ask me for my business card. And guess what? I don't have one. Oh, I was so embarrassed. I felt so unprofessional. I felt like I wasn't doing the Chatty Broads brand justice. So I just asked if I could write my number on their hand or across their chest like I was some sort of 80s rock star. And that didn't go over super well. So yeah, I ran home filled with shame. And yes, I ran because I was just too embarrassed to even think about hailing an Uber. Ugh. So on my run home, I remembered, thank God, the perfect timing of it all. The universe, our newest sponsor, has the best custom business cards. It is Vistaprint. Vistaprint lets you own the now and feel polished, professional, and prepared when it counts the most, so you never miss an opportunity. And you can choose whatever style, finish, shape, or paper you like and get free shipping. Ooh. And because you can pick the colors, fonts, designs, and images, it means you can create something as unique and compelling as you and your business. Plug in your information and logo into hundreds of fresh designs tailored to your type of company, or if you're a creative broad, you can upload your own original layout. And I know so many of you creative broads are out there that will just slam this. You can pick the paper stock, style, and quantity that's right for you. And you can even upgrade to a unique touch like rounded corners. Ooh, sassy. Order and receive your cards with free economy shipping. And as if you needed any more reasons to choose Vistaprint, you can feel good knowing that Vistaprint uses only carefully selected inks and responsibly sourced paper stocks. Your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed, or your money back. They'll make it right. Vistaprint wants you to be able to own the now in any situation. You don't have to be like me and get caught in this embarrassment-filled moment where you feel unprofessional. You have the option to have that custom card, which is why our listeners will get free shipping on all business cards. Thank you, Vistaprint. Any style, any quantity. Just go to Vistaprint.com and enter promo code CHATTY for free shipping on all business cards, any style, any quantity. This is a limited time offer. Own the now at Vistaprint.com, promo code CHATTY. So one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to buy less fast fashion in an attempt to make more sustainable choices where I can. However, a lot of times I have the patience of a hungry 4-year-old when it comes to thrift shopping. You can see that this put me in a bit of a pickle. I want to shop consignment, I want to sell, but doing it in real life can be a bit of an ordeal for me with my actual 4-year-old. Then I discovered The RealReal and all my shopping dreams came true. The RealReal is the leading luxury consignment company across categories like women's and men's fashion, streetwear, jewelry, watches, art, and home goods, with new arrivals coming in daily. Shopping at The RealReal is not only sustainable, but it's a steal. We are talking 90% off the original retail value in some cases, people. 90%. And my favorite part is that everything is meticulously inspected for the authenticity by The RealReal's in-house brand specialists. I'm lucky because here in Los Angeles, we have a physical The RealReal store. I went in last week and spent way too much time perusing because, talk about beautifully curated. It's fantastic in there. So easy to get lost in and browse for hours. When I was there, I may have purchased a Tory Burch wedge that has a ballet-style ribbon strap that goes up the leg for summer, Palm Springs chic. They may have originally been $400, and I may have scored them for $60. Yes, from $400 to $60. And there are deals like this and even better ones constantly in their stores. But if you don't have one of their physical locations, doesn't matter because you have plenty to browse online on their website or the RealReal app. Use promo code REAL, REAL, at checkout for 20% off select items also. That's therealreal.com, promo code REAL for 20% off select items.
Isn't it sometimes, maybe it's just my personality, and I know you'll probably be able to relate to this, but isn't it sort of the case with friendships too, like it is with relationships when someone's like too available to hang out sometimes, and you're just like, you must be like a weirdo if you're always that down to hang out with me.
And I fully feel that way. And then I feel that way though most of the time when I have shit going on. But then all of a sudden when I'm without maybe that like special friend, all of a sudden I'm like, that person's really cool. And you know,
I've actually come into that a little bit recently, getting a little bit older, is it's like, no, it's not someone coming on to you too strong necessarily. Sometimes it's just people being adult and making efforts and being intentional about spending time with you.
Because we realize sometimes when you get older, it's not as easy.
I know.
You don't meet people as organically.
I know. And I have like a new friend who will hit me up and be like, what are you doing this week? Like, is there a day I don't have work on these days? Do you want to do something? And like, normally I'd be like, ah! And then now I'm like, wait, that's really cool. Like, this person wants to hang with me. And like, yeah.
You're coming on too strong.
They want to hang out with me once every 2 weeks. But then I'm like, wait, that's cool. This person's like being intentional, and they're basically being like, hey, I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And like, that's nice.
I think that the dynamic does shift when we get older. Like when you are in high school, you're literally surrounded by hundreds of potential friends all the time. Right? But when you do get older, and especially when you become a parent and you're kind of stuck at home with a little one, or if you have a job and you don't connect with the certain people at your job, like meeting people can be tough.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes those people who are coming on strong, it's like they see maybe a potential connection between you two.
I'm just also terrified of having to friendship break. I'm traumatized. Sure. I'm like, oh, I don't want to I want to take it real slow so I don't have to friendship break up with this person.
Yeah, no, and I get that.
Or ghost them.
But I think it's like if we move forward in life, realizing that like, there is a time and a place for different people. And I think too, if there's the perspective of maybe sometimes you don't have to like friendship break up. Maybe if you just let it happen organically, not everyone holds on so tight.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do. And sometimes you come across that.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
And then I actually think that we should do another episode maybe where I know we've already gotten questions from people.
We've gotten some questions and there are some really good ones. So I think we should do a part 2 where we just answer
and also see if
questions.
People send in good advice about dealing with this kind of stuff.
Yes. I would love some.
Me too.
Yeah.
Please help us. I was going to say, I don't know if you've ever totally been in this situation. I mean, a bit with LA and Orange County, but what would you do if you, for some reason, Evan got this job and you had to move to, let's see, do you have any friends in Chicago? Do you know anyone?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you have to move to
Bachelor
Chicago.
Contestants.
Yeah, true. Fuck. You have to move to Chicago because of Evan's work. How do you go about making friends?
I mean, I'm a little bit of like a creep in that way, where I do feel okay going to like a coffee shop and kind of sitting and working. And if someone sits next to me, like I'll strike up conversation.
Damn.
But I also know that people can get really weirded out by that. But I feel like I can pick up when someone is not, that they are not into it. So you would
like literally, okay, play this out for me. Like you're working.
Yes. My main way that I would do is, okay, let's just say Evan's going there for work and there's a work party. You best believe I'm showing up and I am mingling around the room. Also, I would be really, if I'm getting forced to move somewhere because my significant other has to for work, what I would say to my significant other before we'd move is I'd be like, listen, homie, here's the deal. If we're going to move for work, you best make some work friends and we're all going to go out and get drinks after work together and I'm coming.
Okay, I'm changing this scenario.
Okay.
You and Evan's dead. Sorry, Evan. And you have to move to Chicago for work, but it's not a job. It's not an office, or it is an office job, and you work with people who are older than 60. How are you making friends?
That's tough. I don't know. I think maybe, I would.
Wait, tell me the coffee shop scenario. I like that.
Okay, no, I literally and I've done this before. That's
what I'm saying. Play. Okay. I want to hear it.
Okay, so I'll go and I'll set my laptop up. I have to do work.
Fake work.
Just scoping for friends.
You're typing nothing on a Google Doc.
I have a trench coat on and sunglasses, and people are like, "What's with that Sherlock Holmes bitch in the corner?" I'm just like.
Emails,
so many emails. No, I would just set it up and go to there was this one specific spot by where I used to live that was not slamming busy all the time, where it's people yelling over each other. It was a little bit quieter. And sometimes I would just kind of sit, and if there was someone who would sit next to me,
cool chick,
yeah, or even whatever, just someone sitting next to me who was kind of working, and had been working there for 30 minutes, I would sometimes get up to get a refresher and make a little small talk on my way over. And if it the conversation was flowing, then I exchange numbers with the person.
Damn. That's the part I always have a hard time with, of like being like,
but now this would be the tricky part for me.
Because
is the follow-up. I've been in situations where I knew other people in my life, so I wasn't banking on this person to be like my one and only friend. The desperation
wasn't showing.
Right. So I would send a text if I liked the person, I could be like, hey, a group of us are going and getting a drink wherever on Tuesday if you want to join.
A very casual like addition to the friend.
Right. Now, a way that you could do it is say, hey, a group of friends and myself are going to go get drinks at Little Richard's on Thursday, and then when she shows up,
they all bailed.
I'm so sorry, they all bailed. It's just me.
Then she finds out you just moved here, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're going to murder me."
But it's a tactic.
That's pretty ballsy.
But I understand that that's kind of, I for some reason, I don't know what it is, but like new people, I don't get intimidated by meeting new people. I'll get more intimidated by like people I've known for longer. Like,
I do
their
understand.
opinion of me. I don't care as much.
That.
People who don't know me, I'm like, I don't care if you think I'm weird. I don't know you.
Well, there's different scenarios though, because I will say I usually feel that way too. But generally it's already in like social settings and with people that I know with me. When you're alone in like, whether it be a new work environment or like just a new place, and your desperation and your insecurity shows through like an injured animal in a pack. It's like, and you can, cause you can sense it on other people. And I will say I've been in that position, and that sucks. Cause you are like, you feel like you're auditioning whenever you talk to someone.
I could see myself going on Tinder for friends. I would do something like that. I would try to meet people like
Bumble
online.
has Bumble friends.
Yeah, I would do Bumble friends for sure.
It's actually a good idea.
I mean, my thing is like, if I don't know anybody, I'm down to meet anyone.
That's
like
true.
in any capacity. And if I know this person also wants to meet, then I don't feel so weird.
Again, I just get the anxiety of them then wanting to be like, you're so cool, let's hang out again. You're like,
but when you don't have anybody,
it's true.
And that's the thing, that person might be that friend for that moment. And then maybe they're going to meet somebody else before you meet someone else. And it's just kind of how life is.
My other good tip is the one that has worked for me in the past is like activities or classes. I was always lucky to have climbing.
Oh, yes.
And there are certain activities like climbing, or I don't know why the first one that came to mind was like pole dancing, but I know friends who have taken pole dancing classes, and like it's an environment where you can chat with other ladies.
I started doing belly dancing and everyone's super cool in my class.
See, exactly. Or like with climbing, I just knew that there was always going to be someone friendly that I could organically strike up a conversation about the thing that we were doing together, like dating.
And after you do that, like 4 or 5 classes and you talk, then you're like, do you want to get a drink? I don't have anything going on.
Yeah. Or climbing was great because it'd be like, oh, I want to go out to head to this place this weekend. Do you want to come with? And it's like not weird.
Oh,
if you're like, I need a climbing buddy.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing about rock climbing that I love, is you can virtually make friends everywhere and everyone's super cool. Or Grayson, bought me a cooking class, and you could take like a cooking class, and there were people that showed up there alone.
That's such a great idea. Oh, and then also just hot tip for your first friend date. I think the best place you can ever go for a first friend date.
Where?
So it's not awkward if you don't have a conversation. No, I think it's way better than the movies. It's also a good date too. But go to a comedy club, because you're gonna laugh. Idea. You're gonna find out if they have the same sense of humor as you, because if they're dead silent during when you're laughing and vice versa. But they don't have to talk really. But you're having this fun experience, and then you leave the comedy club and you're like, oh my God, that was so fun and funny. And you have these inside jokes now because of what the comedians said, but you didn't have to be funny, and
Or like you could be like, or if you meet someone like at a coffee shop or something, maybe you can strike up something about a mutual thing you guys like cooking, and be like, I've been wanting to take, even if you make it up, I've been wanting to take this one like bread making class that's like a random thing, but like, would you want to do it with me? I don't want to go alone. That's weird. And you could like do something like that.
I like it. Well, broads, Becky and I have to go to this crazy meeting, which I'm super excited about.
We're meeting with Mike Fleiss about developing our own Bachelor spinoff.
Crazy,
We're
right?
actually executive producers on the Over 50 Love show. No, we're not. I wish.
Oh my God, I wish.
Anyway.
But we do have this like very exciting meeting. We'll keep you updated with future Chatty Broads things. But I feel like we definitely will do a part 2 of this with like your advice, all of these great questions that we got, because we did get a bunch of them that I really want to get into. And yes, please continue to let us know about how you're feeling with some of our potential recap ideas.
Oh, yeah,
or if you
I forgot
find
about
the
that.
Juan Pablo season for free somewhere, please let us know.
Yes.
All right, broads, we love y'all, and
Chat soon.
chat soon. Find a friend. Break up with a friend. Just kidding. Chat soon.